In this video, I'm going to be breaking down proper mechanics and technique along with misconceptions and modifications for downward facing dog, so you can feel aligned and strong in this rest position. Starting in a tabletop position with your hands under your shoulders and your knees stacked under your hips, have a nice, stable and strong shoulder width distance between your hands with your fingers spread and grounded. You want to activate fully through your hands. You can keep your toes either hip width apart, or if you want to bring them together, coming up like this will create a more consistent downward dog, but whatever feels right in your body, you choose. Tucking your toes, pressing through your hands and lifting your hips up and back. You want to keep the spine long, and if that means you need to bend your knees and your heels aren't touching the floor, that's okay. As long as the spine is long and straight, that's the most important thing. You want to elevate your shoulders towards your ears, and you can rotate through your shoulders down to the ground, out and down to the ground to really activate through. And if you struggle with collapsing through your upper body, you can think about pushing your armpits towards the ground to really activate through your shoulders and upper back. Keeping your knees bent if you need, or over time, you can try to straighten the legs, but that's not important. The spine being straight is the most important thing. Downward dog is a lengthening and load sharing position where you're making sure you have your weight evenly spread between your hands, shoulders, spine, and hips. Some common mistakes that you find in execution of downward dog would be collapsing towards the ground. To fix this, you need to press evenly through your palms, and you can think about lifting your shoulder blades towards your hips or pressing your armpits towards the ground and spiraling your upper arms out. If you're locking your elbows and find discomfort in your elbows, just find a little micro bend, but still pressing firmly through your hands. If you find yourself overarching or rounding through the spine, think about lengthening your head towards your hands, keeping your gaze in about mid-mat or towards your feet to keep your neck in a long, straight line and energy flowing. When you pull your pelvis under, you're flattening the rounding out of your spine. Prioritize a neutral spine over having straight legs and lifting your sit bones up and back. If the position is too much on your wrists, you can always elevate your hands with blocks. This also goes for pregnancy. You can take a wider stance and elevate your feet to create more space in your hips. And generally, if you find that more comfortable, modify however you feel is comfortable, as long as your hands are grounded and your spine is long. That is good. And once again, if you're finding you're chasing heels to your mat, but compensating the position of your spine, bend your knees, lift your heels, lift your hips up to the sky, and lengthen, lengthen, lengthen the spine, trying to keep weight evenly spread through the hands. You always want to be thinking spinal decompression and shoulder stability, not hamstring performance. Another option for a longer length dog is to come up from plank, so same setup with the hands, shoulder width apart, pressing through the ground, very active through your fingers, toes tucked, core engaged, and lifting up and back through the hips. Bending through your knees to assist your spine in staying straight and long, pressing through the hands, active through your shoulders. No collapsing. This should feel strong and stable, and over time it should feel more and more like a rest posture. This is the longest you probably want to set your dog up at from a full plank position, and if you're working different variations, you can always walk your feet in a little bit. If you're wanting to work on one-handed
balances or anything like that. The length of your dog is really up to your comfort, and in different flows, you enter the posture from different positions, which will vary the length of your dog. But you can always feel free to step a little bit closer or a little bit farther, as long as your spine stays long and straight. You're activating properly through your upper body.
Bending your knees in this position is completely correct, especially if you have tight hamstrings. Your pelvis connects to your hamstrings, and the tilt of it and your knee bend will control how much stretch you're getting in your hamstrings. One more time from a tabletop position. My hands are grounded and active. My shoulders are stable and spacious. I'm tucking my toes. I'm pressing through my hands. I'm lifting my hips up and back, not worrying about having straight legs or chasing heels to the ground, worrying about how I feel in the posture and making sure that I am activating properly through the right areas of my body, keeping my spine long and hips lifted. Your legs are a secondary thought to all of that. If you are somebody with tight hamstrings, you always want to start with a generous bend in your knees. The most important thing to keep in mind about downward facing dog, it is not about having straight legs or your heels on the mat. It's about having a long and supported spine. Correct should feel like you can breathe easily with no joint pain. Have your spine long and not forcing in any way. Your neck should be relaxed and your gaze should be in your mid-mat or towards your feet to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine and feeling strong. This pose should feel stable and not dramatic. You should think about modifying this position. If you have wrist injuries, you can elevate your hands on blocks. Shoulder injuries, you can shorten the stance or choose to rest. And if you're pregnant, you can widen your stance to make more room in your pelvis for your belly and use blocks to support yourself. I hope this video answered any questions that you had about downward facing dog, or sorted out any sort of pain you may be experiencing when you're executing the position, or any questions you might have had that may not have been covered in a class. Thank you so much for joining.